Hello and welcome to the Discover History YouTube channel, and we are now on to Tuesday. So we decided today's video should be a reveal from our Monday mystery. So just to remind you all, this was the item for the Monday mystery. So it's not an absolutely massive item. It's very heavy though. So it's that big. It's quite chunky, it's quite thick, and it's made of one piece of wood. So you've got the wide part here, and then you've got a rounded handle at the other end. So it actually looks as if someone's taken a cricket bat or broken a cricket bat off and is just using the top bit, sort of recycling. However, what is this mystery object? Now, we had quite a few people comment on all our platforms, really. We had comments on here. We also had comments on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. And we do actually have several correct answers. So to start with, my sister Caroline, she got the answer right after several guesses, I will add there, and a few clues from myself. Then there was also Jason Green, Christopher Denton Hall, and someone called Squizzles, I think it is, which I think entered the competition before and answered correctly one of Ian's objects, or mystery places, I think it was actually, which was referring to Worcester and also Newark, which is connected with the Civil War, just like Worcester is. So thank you very much for joining in, but you are the ones that got the correct answer. So what actually is the item? Well, the answer, if you've looked through Facebook, Twitter and Instagram of all the other guesses, is actually something known as a wash bat. Now, these are often given a name depending on where you are in the country. For example, these items can be called wash beetles, which is quite a common word actually for them. They're sometimes called battledores. Really, it's a regional thing, but generally speaking, they are laundry bats, wash bats, or often just given the name a bat, basically. And they're items that were used in washing for a very, very long time. We're talking about clothes washing, laundering, basically. Now, if you saw the video that we did the day before our Monday Mystery, we were talking about wash day, and in particular the wash days of the 19th century or the Victorian era, where really you had a whole day dedicated to washing, from the soaking of clothes, the sorting of clothes, to the boiling of the water in the copper, going all the way through to the ironing and starching at the end of the day. We've always washed clothing. It always amazes people when I tell them people did wash clothes, and it always amazes people when I do actually tell them that medieval people did use soap. And if you look through our playlist, you will see a video just dedicated to the history of soap. And it's interesting because before we started washing our bodies with soap, we were actually using soap for washing clothing. And obviously that really originated from a plant known as soapwort, which was still being used right up to the 19th century. And eventually, when you have laundry soaps coming out, the bars of it, they were always used, and they were either rubbed onto the cloth or used by grating it in the laundries, and then using that very much like soap flakes or washing powder, as we would call it today. But in a period before the dolly tub, in the period before the washboards, in the copper, people washed their clothes using other methods, really. Woolen clothing was very rarely touched, and that was really down to the fact that wool was pretty delicate. It's hard wearing, but pretty delicate stuff. And even now, we know not to boil wool, for example, because we know it would actually shrink. However, the linens, or later on the cottons, which was against the body, things like the shifts, the shirts, that sort of thing, were generally laundered, and that was the same in the Middle Ages. Medieval people did launder clothing. People didn't have a whole array of clothes, especially the average person, so they would often wear a set of clothes and the other one would be washing and drying, and then they would swap it over. In modern standards, the laundering of clothes, the washing of bodies was pretty poor. in the Middle Ages, but we do actually know they did it. So how was the washbat used? Well, in some countries they still use them, and what people did from really the medieval period, but we believe they were around earlier than that, would be to take their laundry, the clothing, down to a water source, be it a pond, village pond, a stream, a river, something like that. And there were generally places where a lot of people came together. And if you go to some parts of France, or most of France really, or anywhere in Europe, you often find these communal wash points. When we went to Normandy, for example, we saw quite a few of them. They're very much very much like a cloister type area where people would come down for communal washing. So the clothes would be brought down, and like I said, lots and lots of people would come together. It was a time where people could gossip and chat about people, and it was usually where there were some rocks or boulders, and these were often used regular for centuries really, and the clothes would be dunked into the water, laid onto a rock, and the dirt was literally batted or beaten out of the clothes, maybe even using things like soap wort, or even using a very simple lye, or as time went by, these bars of soap to actually put into some sort of detergent to get the grease out, and it was literally battered until clean, and then obviously wrung out, and then usually, especially in the medieval period, was slung over bushes and hedges to dry. And you do actually see quite a few illustrations. Little bit of a challenge. Have a look on the internet, things like Google, and see if you can see people using these washbats. There's quite a few illustrations of them being used. One of the pictures that stick out vividly for me is a colour painting showing women using the washbats, and they have their skirts pinned up at the front so they can actually get into the water. And then you will also see in the background a whole sort of field of drying cloth, things like sheets, for example, and they're spread over the fields and spread over the hedgerows and so on. You also get in archival evidence for this where people's gone along and stole washing as well, stolen shirts, sheets, and that sort of thing. So do have a look. And remember the rules. For example, stay in. If you don't have to go out, don't go out, basically. So give you a little thing to do. Go on Google and have a look at some pictures of wash days in the past. Anyway, on that note, hope you've enjoyed it. This time we have lockdown number 3. We aim to do a Monday mystery every Monday. So Monday will be the mystery, and then the Tuesday will be the reveal. And trust me, we've got lots and lots of things like this thing that people don't always know what it is from the beginning, and it's quite good fun trying to decide what it is. So on that note, stay safe, stay in, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.